we can just say to Holly, right, we actually want you to cut it now.
I know, because Holly does as she's told.
She does.
First time in her fucking life.
Even though we pay us.
Holly's always been a great daughter. She must be the only child in the history of humanity who, all through her life, including as a teenager, listened to her dad. You never had to bully her or coerce her or anything else. She just listened to me and took my advice. Amazing.
All right, so should we say Holly from here? Cut?
Well, no, just start from the beginning. Hey, why not?
Then I want to say something about Holly publicly to the podcast.
She's fat and ugly.
So I've reports from John that she did as she was told as a child, but the minute we start paying her, all of a sudden she starts having these ideas.
Oh, we don't pay her to have ideas.
I'm like, what's that all about? What's that? I'm joking. Holly's fantastic because me and her can, much like me and you, John, we can have a conversation that if an onlooker walked by, they would think that, oh God, that could end badly. Even though to us, it's just a natural conversation about something that we may disagree on, and we can have a proper back and forth about it. And I love that because the majority of people I come into contact with in my life, any form of disagreement does not then turn into a good conversation. It turns into a fucking argument because there's the you're either with me or against me mentality that is rife at the moment more than ever, probably because of politics. But we're also seeing people making crazy decisions with their businesses because of the fucking recession that's coming.
Oh, man. Oh, please don't. I don't spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, obviously, and it may also be just confirmation bias on my part, the reticular activation system. But I speak from experience in the previous 2 recessions I've owned a business in, at least 2. People are now getting fearful and it's going to get worse. In the last few weeks, I've seen one woman make up some self-justifying bullshit excuse about why she's cutting her prices so people can afford her, and also cutting them retrospectively to current clients. It's not because, it's not. I would guarantee it's nothing to do with the fact she wants to be fair to people. It's more a case of she can't get clients. She doesn't know how to sell herself. She's struggling. And the second thing I've seen is a woman who's all into this airy-fairy, new age type, wishful thinking, law of attraction stuff, leaving the freelance world and going back to employment. Maybe she's being honest when she says it's because it's a new chapter of her life and it's something she wants to explore and this was an experiment. I rather suspect it's because she can't actually sell herself and she's not got any money. Now, the problem is, if you are spending a lot of time on LinkedIn, and even if you are making an effort not to take advice, ask advice from people, then you will still necessarily be affected by the prevailing mood. It's human nature. There's a thing called emotional contagion. Now, some of us are lucky enough we don't suffer from it with alexithymia and stuff. But most people who, especially, the more empathetic you, and when I mean empathetic, the more effective empathy you have, the worse this will be. And that is literally emotional contagion. You will take on the prevailing feelings of everyone else. So if people are panicking, you will panic too. So I liken it to what used to happen in the good old days when warfare was fought with swords and shields and axes and things. And you had the shield wall. And you'd have 2 lines of usually men, but not exclusively, because the Scandinavian women used to fight some of them as well. There'd be sword maidens. And they would stand literally face to face, sword, shield to shield, pushing and shoving and things. And it was almost a stalemate. You poke through the gaps in the shields and you maybe injure someone, but for the most part, it was pretty much stalemate. But then, when all it would take is one person to break and panic and leave the shield wall, and the whole thing would fall apart. Well, it will be like that. You will have people, and people are getting nervous and afraid, and it only takes one before the dam breaks and everyone starts dropping their prices in the race to the bottom. And that's what it will be, because not only are you never mind all the objective stuff about you lower your prices, it cuts straight into your margins, which comes straight off your bottom line. 10% price cut on a 35% margin it slashes your profits by 40%. Never mind all that. But what you'll be doing is you will be attracting the wrong kind of people. You'll be attracting people who are also similarly panicked. Well, they are going to be even more demanding and fearful. They're going to want more and more and more for less and less and less. And when it comes to time for them to pay, they won't want to. So you can see an increase in people refusing to pay the even lower rates you're asking for. And because there's a general feeling of fearfulness around, and it's getting worse, if you're in our line of work, when you're asking them to do things which are counterintuitive and uncomfortable, well, that fear will get in the way of low price buyers. So there is nothing to be gained by lowering your prices except a massive fucking headache and a portfolio of shitty clients.
Yeah, why the fuck would you lower your prices when this is the interest rate hasn't been higher for the last fucking decade or something? Inflation is at an all-time high. The cost of everything is going up. And you think, oh, I know what I'll do. Even though I'm already taking a massive de facto pay cut by just keeping my prices the same at the moment, let's make that self-inflicted wound even worse. Let's gouge myself a little bit more and drop my prices. It makes no sense.
So, yeah, it makes absolutely no sense to lower your prices. My boys and girls are obviously not doing it. One of my ladies has recently had a client say to her, when they come to the end of their 3 months, is there something we can do about your rates? And I says, well, you could go back and say, yeah, I can put them up if you like. But she said, no, I've already taken care of it. She just said to them, well, the rate is the rate. If you want to save money, you can have less of my time, but otherwise, no. This is what you pay. It is. No time is a good time to be selling on your price alone. This is the very worst time. Now, what we did is when we restructured the business in the early summer, and really any time since, we change things and do things differently, or we change things. We want to adapt or modify the business. The first thing we do is we look at what everyone else is doing, and then, unless there's a compelling and objective reason to do it the same way as everyone else, we just do it the opposite, or we start thinking, okay, what can we do that's the opposite of this? We don't do it blindly or stupidly. We keep breathing because not breathing will kill us, obviously. And we don't set fire to ourselves because no one else is setting fire to themselves. We're not stupid. But when everyone else is lowering, hey?
A clear and obvious reason.
Yeah. But so when everyone else is cutting their prices and basically prostituting themselves and going to the lowest bidder, we will do the opposite. We've actually increased our prices. We've made our inner circle is going up. It's going to double to £100 a month, and our other offerings, well, we're increasing the price of Elite to $1,500 a month in the new year, and the new thing we've got coming is going to be. I'm not going to go into details here because it wouldn't be appropriate, but that's going to be a higher end thing than we've got currently as well. So our prices are going up. My consulting rates have gone up. And that has happened because what people don't seem to understand is that even in the direst of dire recessions, so you say you've got a 20% unemployment rate, which is fucking catastrophic for an economy. It's just dire. That still means there's an 80% employment rate. Well, that's pretty good. 8 out of 10 people have still got jobs. And okay, you might not be able to. There are some businesses where you will. We've talked about this before, but there will be some businesses where you will get explosive growth, like debt recovery and stuff. There are some that are always going to be in recession. But for the most part, most businesses probably won't grow very much, but they won't shrink either if they do the right things, because people still need shit. People still want shit. I mean, here's the thing. Again, you check the numbers. I bet people like Netflix and Disney and Amazon, I bet they won't see a drop in their income in the recession, particularly.
No.
Or cigarette manufacturers, or people who sell alcohol and make alcohol, or
Yeah.
condoms, or Tampax, or toothpaste. All the things people want, they need them in some way, shape, or form. But I tell you what, I will guarantee that there won't be a sudden swing towards low-end toothpaste. People will still buy the expensive Sensodyne because that's what they want.
Yeah.
They just will. It's just human nature. So, look, if you're a copywriter or other freelancer, please don't get into this stupid idea of you have to sell on price, and don't justify it to yourself and others by going onto LinkedIn and others, and primarily LinkedIn, but other social media, seeing other people in your niche dropping their prices and think, well, I've got to do the same to compete. Competing on price is fucking stupid because the person, think about it this way, the person who wins that battle is the person who's willing to work for the least. Do you want to be that man or woman? Really? Do you? I don't think you do.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to have that sticker on your forehead. I am the cheapest.
No, and that's what you do. You say I am when you say things like I won't be beaten on price or I'll match any offer you get. What you're saying is I am prepared to work for less than anyone else in the market, regardless of who it is, how good they are, or anything else.
And you wouldn't go for the cheapest prosy, would you?
I personally wouldn't, no. I mean, some guys would because that's what they like, but I certainly wouldn't, no.
Think about the sort of guy you're getting that would go for the cheapest prosy. It's a good fucking analogy.
It's a very good analogy. You'll get a bloke who's possibly got money but will have no respect for you.
Yeah, and that's why he wants the cheap one, just to slap her about a bit.
Yeah, or if he's not going to be physically abusive, he will probably be just disrespectful and rude and treat her like a cheap whore, which is because that's what she will be. All right.
Don't be the cheap whore of copywriting, and definitely don't tell yourself you're going to drop your prices so you can make up on volume, because that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Oh man, you have to basically double your volume to stand still on a 10% price cut on a 35% margin, cuts your profits by 40%, and to stay where you are to maintain your break even, you have to work. In fact, it's about 1.9, nearly twice as hard. Volume of sales, that is. It is ridiculous. And can you even, I mean, here's a question for most people. Could you even do twice as much work? Do you have the capacity, the mental energy, the time? And where do you find these twice as many people? Yeah. Where do you find this extra 100% of people that you need to sell to? So if you're selling to, say, 2 clients a week now, where do you find the extra 2 clients every single week just to stay where you are? Fucking madness, man. Madness. But people still do it.
Freelancers, I think, are especially stupid if they do it. Business owners that have staff and sales teams and everything, they're still stupid, but I can almost see their logic a little bit more. But that's why I love it when they join us and they sit down on one of your sessions and you pull out your EBG scary profit calculator, and there's no arguing anymore. There's no theory, because often these businesses can get too big where they don't know the numbers anymore and they just operate in theory and not actual facts. You pull up that calculator and you just see their eyes widen and they're like, oh shit. Oh my fucking God. I've given 10% discount as standard for the last 5 years. We've had that before. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
think of how much you've been fucking yourself. All we have to do is say, don't give the 10% discount. They're like, oh, hang on a minute. My sales ain't changed. My profit's gone up massively. We're like, yeah.
Funny that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not hard.
It is counterintuitive, but as you say, I've got the spreadsheet and I can show people the numbers. And there's 2 calculations. There's the ultra precise, complicated one, where you take into account variable and fixed cost of sales. And then there's just the rough and ready one, which is dead easy to understand. And they both come out at about the same figure. And that is 40%, 38.6%, I think it is. Cut in profits on a 10% discount on a 35% markup as opposed to margin. It's about the same. It's close enough, it makes no difference. And the thing is, a 35% margin is about right for most businesses. When you, even freelancers, when you take, because they'll say, well, my margins are a lot higher. When you take into account your latent time that you're not working, your marketing time that you spend marketing, your utilization rate basically, and then take into account things like your heating, your lighting, your insurance, your marketing costs, and a lot of them wasted time talking to people for free. 35% is about right. It should be much higher. Ours is probably nearer 90%. Certainly, when I was my main business was just Elite. My overhead for rough and ready overhead for running the business was about 15%. So my margin was about 85%. In which case, a price cut has less of a dramatic effect, and a price increase has less of a dramatic effect. But most people, 35% is about right, and many are doing 25%. We've spoken to guys in construction, haven't we, who were doing like 10%. That's their margin, haven't we?
Yeah.
Well, 10%, if you cut your prices by 10% on a 10% margin, that is fucking almost fatal immediately. That 40% is way more than that. It's ridiculous. But still, people have got this fixated idea in their heads that it's all about money. I've actually seen the post this morning. I've not replied to it. Someone's commented and said that not doing free phone calls is an unethical and pressurizing way of selling.
It's the exact opposite.
It is absolutely opposite.
It's the exact opposite. Pressurized way of selling.
Yeah, it's putting people under pressure. No, it's not. It's just saying to people, I'm not prepared to work for free.
It's also it's such a big qualifier that if someone wants to pay to get on the phone, how is that pressured? Because they've had to pay for the privilege to get on the phone.
No, this woman's ignorant, uninformed.
It's backwards. That's backwards.
It is, but I know it is. But I don't talk to my dog and to try and teach my dog particle physics. There's no point.
This is like me paying to go into a prestigious club as someone who's trying to stop drinking, and then I get upset that there's a bar inside. That now I'm saying that they're pressuring me to drink. I've paid to go into a fucking club. I shouldn't be surprised there's a bar there.
Going into McDonald's and complain when you're on a diet and complaining because the person in front has ordered a Big Mac and fries, supersized.
That's ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, I just want to wrap the conversation up around recession. Me and John had a little conversation before we came on. Broad strokes, the best way to behave is just carry on as normal. Pretend there's no recession and just carry on as if there was nothing going on. A lot of recession is influenced by people's beliefs and behaviors about how recession should influence them and affect their lives. And a lot of it is just made up in their head. Obviously not saying recessions aren't real, but people are irrational. So the best thing to do is just keep calm and carry on.
Give people a word of warning. One of his clients is a dry cleaner and has been working hard, and he's been doing 18-hour days, but he's been offering such great discounts on these prestigious contracts to hotels and restaurants. He's actually just about breaking even. So he's working 18-hour days effectively for nothing. So he's got great cash flow, but no profit. My point is this, and again, this is counterintuitive, and it's a very hard pill to swallow. He would be better off not working at all. He'd be better off on the dole. Okay? Well, that's what you're doing. If you cut your prices, if you buy into the recession, you'll be working hard and not being paid for it. So if you're not going to be paid for it, you might as well not bother at all.
Yeah.
So in which case, if you increase your prices and not get any work in, you're no worse off. Because you're not, it's better not to be paid. If you're not being paid, it's better to be not paid a lot. Which takes some thinking about. But as Dan Kennedy came up with that, it's fucking brilliant. If you're not going to get paid, you might as well be not paid a high price. But it's true. If you lose nothing by increasing your prices, because worst case scenario is you don't get any business. But if you got low price business, you're not making any money anyway. So why do it? Fact is, though, you'll get better clients, better business, and make more money. But so, yeah, just pretend nothing's going on. Don't be stupid about it, but you just Get off fucking social media if it's bothering you.
Yeah, broad strokes, just put your fingers in your ears, carry on, sell at the same prices, follow the same processes. Broad strokes, you'll be just fine. Anyway, John, that's boring. Recessions are boring. They're not real anyway. They're all made up. How's your mobility going?
Oh man, fucking hell. Unreal. Unreal. This is the 5th morning, right? And
Okay.
I've been messaging my guy, the guy I'm doing it with, because he wants regular check-ins. I'm like a little kid at Christmas. Yesterday, in the gym, right, I was jumping up and down between sets, and it occurred to me, I've not got any pain in my hips when I'm getting out of my chair. Normally, and even getting up from my desk after an hour or two sitting, I'm like this. Fucking hell. Oh, old man, right? Well, yesterday, I didn't realise at the time. I was like, this is up, I'll sit down again. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute. I'm not having to use my hands, or I'm not groaning and creaking and crashing and crunching. This is after 5 days, man. This is all. In bed, there are probably 2 or 3 mornings a week I will wake up and everything just hurts, especially after leg days, for instance. This week, I'll be swinging out of bed. My ankles are still sore, but that's my Achilles. Nothing to do with mobility. That's my Achilles tendonitis. I'm getting up in the mornings and I'm not stiff. It's just unfucking real. I can't believe how good it is. I would put it on the same level of life-changing as having my eyes done.
Really?
Absolutely. It's dramatic. Now, I don't know if everyone would have the same results. Can't possibly say that. It's unlikely many people are as stiff as I was. But and now walking the dogs in the morning, I've noticed right deep inside my buttocks, deep inside my glutes and my lower back, it feels like, when you don't say stiff-legged deadlifts or leg day, and you can feel there's a pump in there. Well, it feels like that, but it's deep inside. And I said to Toby, it feels like it's not uncomfortable or unpleasant, but it's weird feeling. He says what that probably is, even with just 4 or 5 days down. Well, actually, this was 4 days down. This was yesterday morning when it first happened. He says what's probably happened is with even with the small amount of hip work you've done, your stride has lengthened. So you're now working muscles harder that you weren't working before. Fucking hell. I'll go for that one. The other day, I did 9 miles I did 4 miles in the morning with the dogs and 5 on the treadmill. The next day, I did 4 with the dogs and 3 on the treadmill. And normally, I would be stiff and sore the next day. Like a young bloke again. It's fucking dramatically different. In the gym yesterday, bit of shoulder pain still on my left, but everything else is just not hurting anymore.
If you were like a young man, you'd have a little stiffy.
I've always got a stiffy, mate.
But left shoulder, what's that? Rotator cuff?
No. I'm not sure what it is. It's not rotator cuff. It actually goes down the back. Feels like it goes down the back of the tricep in here somewhere. I'm not quite sure what it is. It's not a joint. And it's really bizarre because it only hurts during, like if stretching now, it hurts a little bit. But also incline bench press. And I don't understand why this is. Yeah, not the flat one. Well, I don't do flat bench press. I do dips, weighted dips. And sometimes with the flies as well, if I do that, it starts to hurt about here. But it's not the joint. I think it's probably the tendon. But anyway, that still hurts a little bit, but it hurts less than it did. But like this shoulder, it's just the mobility. I don't think I'm much.
Can you do that yet?
Can't really tell, actually. It's hard to tell. Is it any better than it was before when you saw it?
I think so.
It's hard to tell. It feels better. But it's phenomenal, honestly. It sounds like I'm being evangelical here, and maybe I am, but it's just fucking life-changing, man.
Hey, for a man who's going to be 70 in 13 years, I'm sure getting out of your chair without hurting or making a sound is life-changing, you old fuck.
The point of all this was to say I'm very well informed about bodybuilding and stuff and weight loss and muscle building. I've been doing it, and I've been not researching it, but I've been studying it on and off as an amateur for 25, 30 years. No, 27 years. So I know about that. And I got to a certain point and I almost got my six pack, but never quite. And then within 5 months of working with Phil Agostino, I got my six pack in my early 50s. I could have done it in 4. The lesson there is pay an expert. Working with Toby, I've been doing yoga on and off for a couple of 3 years. Okay, I had some results. Yeah, won't deny that. Bit of mobility work that I've paid for courses. 50 quid here, 60 quid there. Not a lot. Never really got into it because just didn't, as you don't. I pay an expert, not even a large amount of money. I pay an expert, and within a week, my life is dramatically improved in terms of mobility. The lesson there is pay an expert. Yeah? So when it comes to your business, yeah, you can learn a lot of this stuff by asking people, watching YouTube videos, buying programs, just like I did with the fitness and the mobility. But if you really want to get this stuff nailed and have results in a week, 2 weeks, a month, pay an expert. And that would be us.
Yeah, just to clarify, don't go and pay someone else after listening to that, thinking John's absolutely right. Let's go fucking hit someone else up.
I'll be honest about this and say, look, if you don't want to pay us, then at least do pay someone else who's an expert.
True, yeah.
I'd rather people did that and not fucking suffer. But whatever you do, please don't take free advice off LinkedIn as being gospel. Most of these people haven't solved the problem you're asking them about. So all you're going to get is advice on how to deal with it. And those who have solved it, or apparently have solved it, like freelancers who said, I've now got an established business and here's how I got started. Most of them, they've got a modicum of success in spite of how they did it, not because of it. I went on to Upwork or freelancer.com or Fiverr and I did loads of cheap work to get a portfolio. Well, that's a stupid way to grow your business. It may work, but my God, there are easier ways of doing it.
Yep. And on that note, I think that's a good place to leave it. Yeah, for a $5, you can start making some steps in the right direction. That is if you go to the Well-Fed Freelancer, wellfedfreelancer.com, £5, 9 gifts that make up the most unbelievable free gift ever, and the book, all for £5. And if you don't like it, what do they get?
Double their money back and a free pizza.
So you're telling me that they don't like the book, they get to keep the book, they get to keep the gifts, and we'll give them a tenner, and we'll buy them
a free pizza. We'll get it delivered to their house.
What? We'll buy them a large pizza delivered to their house?
Yeah, from their local pizzeria. There's no catch. There's no we'll get you the cheapest one we can possibly get you either. We'll get you pretty much whatever pizza you want. We don't care.
Not bad. Anyway, so that's wellfedfreelancer.com. Anything else to say, John?
No, just enjoy your weekends. Stay off social media. Get out there in the sunshine. Enjoy it while you can.
Wonderful. I think this will be going out on Monday, so they already would have had their miserable weekend.
Fucking enjoy next weekend then.
All right, guys. Much love. See you later.
Bye.